Okay, right now we are in the middle of our study session with Green for Life, which is also known as GFL. We have Sam Caramanga at the microphone right now answering our questions, and we have let them know our concerns as far as missing trash pickup, yard waste, recycle, and large item pickup. Also not returning can to the point of pickup, cans hit by cars in the street because they're not returned to the curb but put in the street, and also trash blowing out of cans while moving down the street and dumping it into the truck. And so let's continue on.
Okay, so if you want to address the fact that you're looking for drivers, this would be a perfect time.
Yeah, that's good. So we are at GFL. We're currently looking throughout Metro Detroit for CDLB drivers with an Arabic endorsement for our company. It's an ongoing search. We're just continuing to try to refresh our base of drivers. So if anyone is interested, please contact us at GFL. Feel free to come down and fill out an application. We'd like to speak with you.
Thank you.
Now, I know one of the things that you mentioned is that you were having, issues during that 1 month or 2 month period. But based on what you said, then that should be an industry issue. Is that an industry issue? And if I could be specific, is that something that Waste Management is also dealing with right now? Because you mentioned, people don't want these types of jobs. You also mentioned that, or difficult to get people, hired. But you also mentioned that there was a problem as far as the seasonal and what have you is concerned. Is that something that also, if you don't want, I just mentioned Waste Management, but obviously there's many others. So is that an industry problem that's being worked on, or is that just you guys that had that situation?
Obviously, I don't work at Waste Management, but I know what I hear through the industry and know what I see. And I would tell you, yes, there are the same challenges we have, everyone has at this time. I know specifically we have had drivers come to us from Waste Management. We have had drivers leave us and go to Waste Management and others, Republic, Advanced Waste. They've come and gone and come and gone and come and gone. That's a challenge. That's some of the same people you talk about that don't feel they're being paid enough. Go there, then come back, come to us, go back. It's a challenge everywhere right now.
Okay. Yes. Also, I'd like to address, just like Councilwoman Lisa Hicks Clayton mentioned, whenever I've had residents call the service center and not feel satisfied, I've contacted you directly in regards to different situations, and I just want to publicly acknowledge the fact that you did take care of those problems, so I thank you for that, and thank you for looking into them.
Well, thank you. I am reachable anytime. You all have my number. I can be reached, and believe me, it's not that it's specific to a council person or mayor asking. It's if you can't get resolution somewhere else, come to me. Believe me, I will take care of your problem.
All right,
I'll get it resolved.
Muscat?
When we just started this process when it was Rizzo, they talked about getting us new vehicles, new trucks. I still see you're using rental trucks from rental companies. Is that also a problem for you, where you don't have the equipment?
No, it's not really an equipment problem. That rental truck is new. It's a 17. That truck is out here. We have a brand new 18 that came to us. It's been here about a month and a half. Never picked up a bag of trash yet. It had a Mack chassis problem. Then it had a Heil body problem. Heil's the body, the equipment that does the compaction. Hasn't picked up a bag of trash yet. Just back and forth today on emails and whatnot about the manufacturer taking that truck back and giving us another rental until they fix that brand new truck correctly. The equipment these days is very, very technical. A lot of bells, a lot of whistles, a lot of valves and whatnot, a lot of electric issues with those. Not like an old school truck. There's a lot of challenges with them. So some of the trucks you see in town are a spare for the day.
The other thing is again, I'm one of the council people that get a lot of phone calls when their trash doesn't get picked up. Our big problem, what I see, is on Fridays. Trash that doesn't get picked up on Friday. And then it sits out there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then people drag it back in their yard. Here comes a trash pickup truck, and they missed the trash pickup, and now they got their trash for another week. So that's very concerning to me, especially on Fridays.
Friday is one of your lightest days, smallest days, and the day we get done earlier than other days. I will tell you that, and anyone that's listening, if by chance they're missed, when they're missed for collection, please leave it right there at the curb. We get messages, we get the notification if something's been missed. Please leave it at the curb. We do dispatch trucks, and I do dispatch trucks on Saturday. If anything's missed, I dispatch trucks on Saturday to go collect them.
Unfortunately, and I hate to put you under the gun like this, but I've called GFL for people. Well, we'll send it out. We'll send out a truck. Never shows up.
Well,
Never shows up, and that, and I tell the constituents, yeah, they're coming, and then I get egg on my face, and then I hate to tell him to call the mayor's office. He gets egg on his face, and it just, we're like the bottom of the food chain here. Okay.
I will tell you that if you get a call on a Friday and you're concerned about, or the resident's concerned about not getting picked up on Saturday, please call me. I'll make sure it gets taken care of. Lisa just called me last week about one. It was Saturday when she called me. I had it picked up Sunday morning.
You did. You did.
Madam Chair.
Let me address that even further. We have the method of communication for issues, missed pickups. There really are 5 means of contacting us currently, and that creates a problem in itself. We have phone contact with the route manager. We have text contact with the route manager. We have what is known as Q alert contact with the route manager. We have email with the route manager, and we have your DPW slips that you hand out, 3x5 slips with handwritten notes on it to the route manager. So there's really 5 methods of communication with the route manager right now, some of which I'm aware of, others I'm not aware of, and my line of business manager that looks after the route managers as well sometimes is not aware. So what we've done is we've created an email address that is used for the administration and your DPW folks, that you can come directly to us with that, and that's a one lane of travel right to us. And there's no slips, no phone calls, no texts. It can't slip by that way. We've got 5 people on that thing. So when it comes to us, someone's got it.
Okay.
Should solve that problem.
Councilman Constant?
Thank you. Sam, what's the earliest they go out and pick up? I think this morning, and I live in the Brookside subdivision, the trucks were coming by about 7:15 a.m. Now, it's not a big deal for me, but for some seniors, what's the earliest they start?
Well, we have three start times at our shop on Van Born: 5:30, 6, and 6:30. The people that are working in Dearborn Heights, because it's a close proximity to our yard, they're a 6:30 start. So 6:30, they get the truck running. Maybe have to go to the landfill in the morning or the recycle plant, dump the truck. So what you're seeing, Bob, is 7:15. Should be pretty consistent.
Okay, and then second question, it seems to be a new style truck, and I've seen some of it grabs the can, and unless the cans are separated and it grabs it exactly right, it takes the can and crushes it or breaks it. It's a newer style truck with more of an apparatus on the front of the truck.
That's called a residential front loader. It has what's called as a Corrado can on the front of it. That allows us to grab the can, dump it. Now, if it's grabbing it too tight, that's a hydraulic adjustment we can have made, and I can look at that and see what the pressure settings are on those. So that can be a fixed problem. The Corrado front loader is not a typical side load truck like you've seen in other areas. That allows the driver to drive by, and if you're in a side load truck, the loading height is 11 feet in the air. So if you're going down the road, you dump the cart. If there's a chair like this at the curb, that chair has to be left for the next truck, the bulk truck, to come pick it up. With these Corrado trucks, the driver can step out, put that chair back in the truck, move on to the next house. It should reduce, it will reduce the number of calls, because when you dump that cart and you leave that chair, someone's looking out the window and saying, hey, they missed my chair. They don't know that other truck's coming maybe an hour later to pick that chair up. So that will reduce those calls, and it's a one-stop shop. Now, if there's a big picnic table there or 3 mattresses, that's a little different story. We'll send a conventional rear load truck to pick that up. But you will reduce some of that overage by running that residential front loader.
Okay, thank you. And special pickup, and this is for the mayor and, or the administration and for GFL. What's the rule regarding when you need to call for special pickup?
Excessiveness, really excessiveness, evictions, move-outs. You typically, is there a defining special pickup, ill-prepared evictions and move-outs? We work with Jack on that, your ordinance enforcement officer, and my route manager, John. They work together on that, but it's hard to describe that. If it's just someone gets put out of their house and everything goes to the curb, that is a special pickup. If there were a big flood, that would be a special pickup. If someone was cleaning out their entire garage and threw it at the curb, that's a special pickup. A couch, a chair, a hot water tank, that's not a special pickup. That goes with the regular stuff.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Wenzel?
Yeah, I have three questions. First of all, you said that these newer trucks are high technology trucks. And I noticed, I actually followed a truck 3 blocks walking down the sidewalk. I noticed they reach out, grab the can, dump it, and put it back almost in the exact same spot that it was picked up in. But after 3 blocks, I noticed they picked the can up, and as it was going down, the truck started to move, and the can was set like 3 or 4 feet over. Now, isn't that a safety issue where that truck should be stopped, the brakes on for that mechanism to work? Because that arm could be out and that truck could move forward and hit something?
It could be. That's a training issue. We talked about that a little bit ago. It's a training issue. That truck does not have that redundancy where it will not move if the arm is in motion. Sometimes, and there are occasions where the can, if it's put too close to a car, too close to a tree, too close to a fire hydrant, they will move it up and put it somewhere else on occasion. Seems like it's happening too often from what I'm hearing. So that's, again, a training issue that we'll address tomorrow with the manager and the drivers. But no, there is no redundancy and that truck being disabled while the automated arm is working.
Okay, thank you. And also, I've had a few calls in the last month about the yard waste cans when they're manually picked up, dumped in the truck, and then returned to the curb upside down and slammed, and all the debris that's left goes onto the grass. And I looked down my block, and every can on my block was turned upside down today.
Upside down is really an industry type thing. It tells the route manager that the can's been emptied and turns it upside down. And yes, when the grass is wet and sticky, there is some that sticks in the bottom occasionally. I've heard this both ways, Councilman. People like them upside down, people don't like them upside down. It tells them it's been dumped. You probably get a 50-50 mix on that. Some like it upside down, some don't. Yeah. I realize there's a challenge. We could shake them a little more, try to get the rest of the grass. I'll just tap a little bit on the edge. Sometimes they break when you do that, though.
Yeah, I watched them, though. They can kind of slam them down kind of hard a little bit. But, I mean, if it's an issue, it's something that you guys go by
we can ease up on it. We can ease up on it and make it aware.
Okay, thank you. I'm just repeating some concerns. And can you explain to us 2 things? What the recycling cans, the trash and the recycling, where that goes and how it's treated in the yard waste?
The yard waste is collected separate, as you know, yard waste and limbs. Collected separately, it comes back, it's disposed of at a transfer facility, then it's ground and then reloaded and hauled off to our compost facility up in Lapeer.
None of it goes into a landfill, the yard waste?
No.
Okay, all right. What about the recycling? How's that process?
Recycle is also collected separately in recycle trucks, much the same, automated trucks or front-load trucks. The trucks can collect anything you put them on. There's no specificness of what they can or cannot collect. That's collected. It's all hauled off to Re-Community, which is our recycling facility down on Huron Road in New Baltimore.
Do they separate it there, and
yes.
They actually separate it?
Yeah, it's quite an elaborate.
There, or something? Do you have the magnetic system?
It's quite an elaborate process. There's screens, blowers, magnets, hand picking, balers. It's quite an elaborate set of machines there. We can have tours of that too if you ever want to see it, but it's quite an elaborate process to sort that material out.
Well, I worked at the trash energy incinerator downtown Detroit, and I've seen the process of how trash is separated, you know, with the big magnetic wheels. So none of that is put into a landfill. And also, is there money to be made on the recycling?
No, not right now. It's a cost item right now. There is You can certainly read about that, but recycling does its tour up and down, and right now it is a cost item for us to recycle. We do it, it's part of the contract, costing us money. There's no rebates right now.
Do you offer strictly cardboard or paper bins, separate bins?
For residential homes or commercial buildings?
For residential and commercial.
For commercial, we offer cardboard recycling containers. If you have a business that generates, yeah, it's a cost to it, depends on what your...
There is a charge.
Yes, there's a cost, it depends what your frequency and volume needs are, yes. But for the residential application, it's your 64-gallon recycle cart is what you're used at the home.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the council? Would any of the residents like to step up and ask questions or state their concerns? Step up to the microphone, introduce yourself, and state your concern. Good.
Johnston from 4842 Catherine Street. And my concern is GFL, since they took it over from Waste, I think they're doing a fabulous job. Yes, there's a few bugs, but if you look at Waste, I used to work there, and they have the same problem. Unfortunately, it's industry-wide, like you said.
Like I said, I think it's a sign of the times that the younger generation just works for a little bit of time. They don't go to a job and stay there till they retire.
And as a resident, I actually prefer my yard waste can to be upside down, because when I come home, I know it's done. And for most of the residents, I'm sorry to say this, but they do not get their cans. They'll sit out there all weekend. On a Friday pickup, they'll come down, they'll empty the can, and if you drive down Pelham Road, some of those cans get hit because they go back into Pelham Road over the weekend, because the resident does not take them back up to their house.
That's understandable.
So, I mean, it's a catch-22, and I hate to say it, but unfortunately, residents got to be responsible for taking their cans up too. On a windy day, we can't blame the garbage company.
No.
You know, it's just nature. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Council Chair.
Councilman Muscat?
Piggybacking on that, the city has to do a better job of enforcing the no parking on the streets. Just this past week at my house, I wasn't home, but my wife had to go outside and move our cans so the truck could pick it up, because car was parked out in front of my house, and I have a fire hydrant out in front of my house. So that's a double whammy there. And my next door neighbor also had to move her cans because the cars were parked. And then, you know, and I've heard the horror stories of neighbors arguing with one another. Hey, you're parking your car in front of my house. My can's not getting picked up, and then the neighbors start fighting. So we do have to do a better job in helping GFL in that situation, because I know the drivers, they've got to get frustrated too when they've got to pull around parked cars and try to get that arm out straight. So that's all it is in a nutshell to me too.
Thank you. Councilman Wenzel?
I'd like to make a point to the residents to put your cans on the grass, not in the street. One of the reasons is the street sweepers come by, and if your can's out in the street, they're going to swerve right around your curb. You're not going to get it swept. And that's, I noticed on just about every block, there's some cans are sitting in the street. And it's very important to put them up on the grass.
I'd like to address Mr. Muscat's concern there. We are working with Mr. McIntyre on that same exact situation. There's a cul-de-sac. It's loaded with parked cars. We can't get the trucks in there. And I know that we're working with him, and he's got ordinance enforcement working on that, and law enforcement going in there and helping us in that exact situation. I think that happened today. So I'm glad to hear that, and glad it was brought up, because it's a concern.
And matter of fact, a week ago, I brought up a suggestion. We're doing a combined sewer overflow project in one neighborhood, and it happens to have a cul-de-sac. It's either remove it or make it a lot smaller so the truck can get around it and pick up the cans.
That helps.
That's my thought for today.
Thank you. Please come up to the microphone, state your name and your concern.
Hi, I'm Anna Brianna, same at 4216 Croissant. Our problem happens to be that they pick and choose who they're going to pick up. They always leave a can. And I know this because we don't leave our cans out. If somebody's working midnights, which happens, I'll put their cans away when they're done. And they do the same for me if I'm gone for the weekend. We take care of each other. And almost every week, somebody was missed, almost every single week. And, for example, one of the houses, it's right on the corner of Croissant and Colgate. They moved a month ago. The garbage is still there, and it's overflowing. And there's critters around there now, so that's now a new complaint. I haven't called, because I call all the time, but the other neighbors have.
What is your street name? I'm sorry.
Croissant, C-R-O-I-S-S-A-N-T Street. So, and we're between Colgate and Lehigh, and that's right on the corner of Colgate and Croissant. It's been there for a month. It's ridiculous. Sorry? Okay, well, it's back in the yard now for some reason, but, and they're both overflowing.
If you can get it at the curb, I'll get it picked up tomorrow.
You want me to get it at the curb? No.
It's another house.
So-
What I'm saying is, if you can-
It's a vacant home?
It's a vacant home right now.
What about that?
So, okay, so that's what our problem is, and that happens every single week. I'm the only house on my block. The neighbor sometimes puts out her garbage, she does it about once a month. So if I do it every week, mine might get picked up, it might not, because I'm the only house. The other ones are vacant, so.
Oh.
Okay, and that's not fair. There's houses on the other side of the street. So, okay?
We'll get on it. We apologize.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns?
Madam Chair, just one more comment.
Councilman?
I was at the resident's house today, the Bertinellis, and the woman there showed me some photos of her garbage can that was laying on its side, and she said that when it was put back on the curb, and she watched it, and it fell off because it was half on the curb, half on the street. Is that something you can address in your training issues? Take a look back in the rearview mirror once in a while, see if a can's laying on its side or something, because this is a senior citizen also. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, at this point, this concludes our study session.